4 hoods who torched cars at the home of a pal of druglord Mark Richardson have been caged for a total of 25 years. The Tamo Junto thugs also firebombed a taxi firm as an underworld turf war described as sheer naked gangsterism erupted across Scotland. Kieran Abercrombie, 32, Robert Thomson, 18, Kenzie Gardner and Tyler Ramage, both 19, learned their fates at the High Court in Edinburgh after earlier admitting their roles in the terrifying attacks. Abercrombie was sentenced to 9 years, Thomson for 6 years and 8 months, Gardner for 5 years and 4 months, and Ramage 4 years. Footage from last May showed Thomson pouring petrol over a Land Rover and an Audi, which were then set alight by Ramage outside David Macmillan's property in Greenbank, Edinburgh. We told how the capital's High Court heard kids were in the pad at the time. Mercy crews raced to the scene after a 999 call warning there would be an explosion. Abercrombie, Thomson and Gardner had earlier set fire to the Deuce private hire taxi company in Muirhead near Steps, Lanarkshire. Prosecutor Margaret Barron said at an earlier hearing at approximately 2:45 a.m, 2 female members of staff were carrying out their duties. They heard the sound of liquid and then saw the light of the fire being ignited. The pair bolted outside and raised the alarm. The court heard Thomson, Gardner and Ramage set fire to 2 motors while acting along with others. In video footage played in court, Thomson could be heard saying as they fled, "The whole business is on fire, bro." Cops later discovered he'd sent screenshots of social media posts about the Edinburgh blaze, and in messages he'd referred to the Tamo Junto account used by hoods linked to mob supremo Ross Miami McGill, 31, to taunt their enemies during the feud. The wave of violence exploded last March. It was claimed McGill ordered attacks on associates of caged kingpin Richardson, 38, after his cronies were ripped off with fake cash and a £500,000 cocaine deal. Miss Barron said the offences were probed as part of Operation Portaledge, Police Scotland's response to an escalating feud between organised crime groups operating across the central belt of Scotland. Abercrombie, a lag at Addiewell Nick, Thomson of Whitburn, plus Gardner and Ramage of Bathgate, all in West Lothian, were remanded in custody by Lord Mulholland. The judge told them that their very serious offences involved sheer naked gangsterism.
Not only was all this in furtherance of a gangland war, you were receiving payment for your nefarious work. Gangsterism is never acceptable in a civilised society. The public won't accept it, law enforcement won't accept it, and the courts won't accept it. There's a heavy price to pay for those caught doing this criminality, and you are about to pay that price.
They were among 63 people nabbed in the cop crackdown after a spate of shootings, blade attacks and firebombings. The whereabouts of McGill are unclear. He was kicked out of Dubai after a spell in prison in the UAE. We told last week how gang thug Joshua Stewart, 21, was nailed for driving the getaway car in a brutal machete attack, making him the 9-foot soldier jailed for his role in the carnage. He admitted his involvement in the year-long explosion of underworld violence. He pled guilty at the High Court in Glasgow to driving the motor used to ferry masked knife men to attack Macmillan, an associate of caged Edinburgh kingpin Richardson. Stewart sat at the wheel of a Land Rover Discovery as his accomplices slashed at their victim on May 22 last year. Horror video footage was shown in court of a savage blade attack on Macmillan, 54, outside his home in Greenbank, Edinburgh. Stewart, of Bannockburn near Stirling, was arrested as part of Operation Portaledge. He was remanded in custody and will be sentenced next month.